gotten hip mobility, so whether we've done some soft tissue work or some joint mobilizations, something to get some hip mobility, we need to do an exercise to actually reinforce that new mobility that we've gotten. A lot of times what I see people do is they stretch or they do some mobilizations and then they just kind of get up and walk out. And so unless your body and your brain learns how to use that new range of motion, that new pattern of motion, it's just going to tighten right back up, and then we're kind of back to where we started. So once we've gotten some hip mobility, then we're going to do an exercise to actually to reinforce that motion. So this is called the Starfish exercise. So Chloe's going to lie down on her back, and we're going to use the CLX band, and we're going to take 2 middle loops, and we're going to place them around each of her feet. And then we're going to take the opposite ends, and she's going to hold in either hand, and you can actually loop through. Just so she has a nice secure grip on that. From here, she's going to extend her arms and legs overhead. Her legs out, arms are up overhead, so she's got some nice tension in the band. And what the band overhead does is it helps to kind of put some nice activation and tension through her core with this activity. From here, she's going to take the leg that we mobilized, and we're going to bring it up, and we're going to go into a flexion and external rotation pattern. And then from here, she's going to come straight down, pressing against the hip, going into some extension and even some hip internal rotation. So you'll recognize this as a PNF pattern. From here, we're getting some assistance coming up into that flexion and external rotation, one of the patterns that we worked on, one of the movements, and then she's going to actually activate her glutes and her posterior chain with into the resisted pattern, coming back down towards full extension. And so we can let her go on her own. And this is again an exercise that we do once we've gotten her some hip mobility to just reinforce that new pattern of movement. She's going to work throughout her range to get that pattern of movement.